The warning alarms echoed through the dark halls of Fortress Prime, the massive space station that served as the headquarters of the Death World Alliance. Every species in the galaxy knew about this place. Most feared it. The civilized worlds called it a den of monsters and killers. They were not entirely wrong. Prime Keth stood before the great viewing window, his scaled hands clasped behind his back. His yellow eyes watched the distant stars waiting. Behind him, the Alliance Council argued in their usual manner, loud, angry, and ready to fight at any moment. "This is clearly a trap," growled Commander Vex, his forearms crossed over his armored chest. "No civilized species has ever offered us friendship. Why would these humans be different?" The other council members nodded in agreement. There was Terra, whose people came from a world of endless storms. Her blue skin crackled with natural electricity when she was angry, which was often. Beside her sat Old Tom, a being whose race had evolved in the crushing depths of a high-gravity world. His bones were like metal, his muscles like steel cables. "Maybe they want something from us," suggested Dr. Nina, the Alliance's chief scientist. Her people had survived on a world where the very air was poison. She spoke through a breathing mask that filtered the station's atmosphere. "What could humans possibly want from the Death World Alliance?" Prime Keth turned from the window. His voice was deep and calm, cutting through the noise of the argument. "They want to join us." The council fell silent. In the history of the Death World Alliance, no species had ever asked to join them. The Alliance had been formed by outcasts, by beings whose worlds were too dangerous for normal life. The civilized galaxy had pushed them to the edges of space, calling them monsters and barbarians. "Join us?" Commander Vex laughed, but there was no humor in it. "These humans live on a garden world. They probably drink water that falls from the sky and breathe air that doesn't burn their lungs. What would they know about death worlds?" Prime Keth walked to the center of the council chamber. On the floor, a holographic display showed the human ship approaching their territory. It was called the Resilience, and it was unlike any ship the Alliance had seen before. It was not built for war, like their vessels. It was not covered in armor plating or bristling with weapons. Yet something about it made even the battle-hardened Alliance members feel uneasy. Their message was simple, Prime Keth said, his voice echoing in the chamber. They said they bring a gift. A living gift. They said they understand what it means to fight for survival every day. Dr. Nina leaned forward in her chair. "What kind of living gift?" "Our sensors detect complex biological signatures, but we cannot identify what they are carrying." "That is what worries me," Commander Vex said. He stood and paced around the chamber like a caged predator. Unknown biological signatures could mean anything. Disease, weapons, some kind of alien creature designed to destroy us from within. Tara's skin sparked with blue electricity. "If they try to trick us, we will show them why the galaxy fears the Death World Alliance." Old Tom's voice was like grinding stone. "My people have a saying, trust is earned with blood. These humans have not bled for us. They have not proven themselves in battle. Why should we trust them?" Prime Keth understood their concerns. The Death World Alliance had survived by being suspicious of everyone and everything. In the outer rim of the galaxy, trust was a luxury they could not afford. But something about the human message had intrigued him. There was a quality in their words, a tone that reminded him of his own people's struggle for survival. "Because," Prime Keth said slowly, "they are not asking us to trust them. They are asking us to judge them." The council members exchanged glances. This was different. Usually, species that contacted the Alliance either wanted to trade weapons or hire them as mercenaries. Nobody had ever offered gifts or friendship. Commander Vex stopped pacing. "What do you mean, judge them?" They said in their message that they understand isolation. They said they know what it feels like to be considered dangerous by those who do not understand strength. Prime Keth activated the holographic display, showing the human message that had arrived 3 days ago. The image of a human appeared in the center of the room. It was Captain Rick Torres, commander of the Resilience. He looked ordinary, 2 arms, 2 legs, no natural armor or weapons. His skin was soft-looking, not scarred by acid rain or radiation. Yet his eyes held something that the Alliance members recognized, the hard look of someone who had seen death and refused to surrender to it. People of the Death World Alliance, the recorded message began. We are humans from the planet Earth. We have watched from afar as the galaxy has pushed you to its edges, calling you monsters and criminals. We know this feeling. We have been called dangerous too. We wish to offer you a gift, life from our world. We believe you will understand its value better than anyone else in the galaxy. The message ended, leaving the council in silence. Finally, Dr. Nina spoke. There is something strange about their biology. Our long-range scans of their ship show that humans are different. Their life signs are unlike anything we have seen. Different how? Prime Keth asked. Stronger than they should be. Their bodies show signs of adaptation to extreme conditions, but their planet appears to be a paradise world. It makes no sense. Commander Vex slammed one of his fists on the table. This is exactly why we should not trust them. Nothing about them makes sense. They could be spies from the core worlds, sent to infiltrate our alliance. Or, said Old Tom thoughtfully, they could be telling the truth. Perhaps there is more to these humans than we understand. Prime Keth made his decision. As the leader of the Death World Alliance, it was his responsibility to protect his people. But it was also his duty to recognize potential allies. In the harsh reality of the Outer Rim, allies were more valuable than weapons or territory. We will meet with them, he announced, but we will be ready for anything. Commander Vex, prepare our defense fleet. If this is a trap, we will show them why Death World warriors are feared throughout the galaxy. Commander Vex grinned, showing his sharp teeth. My ships are already in position, Prime Keth. If these humans try anything, they will not live to regret it. Dr. Nina, I want full scans of their ship and cargo the moment they enter our space. If their gift shows any signs of being a weapon, we destroy them immediately. Dr. Nina nodded. Our sensors will be watching every molecule of their ship. Prime Keth looked around at his council, beings from worlds that would kill most species, in minutes. They had survived because they were strong, suspicious, and willing to fight for every breath. But they had also survived because they recognized strength in others. Tomorrow we will see what these humans truly are, he said. If they are enemies, we will crush them. If they are what they claim to be, then perhaps the Death World Alliance is about to grow stronger. As the council dispersed to prepare for the meeting, none of them could imagine that the next day would change everything they thought they knew about survival, strength, and what it truly meant to be dangerous in an unforgiving galaxy. The human ship Resilience docked with Fortress Prime exactly at the agreed time. Captain Rick Torres stepped onto the Alliance station wearing only a simple uniform. No armor, no weapons, no protection against the toxic atmosphere that most Alliance members needed filters to breathe. This alone made Commander Vex suspicious. How is he breathing our air? Vex whispered to Prime Keth as they watched the humans walk down the docking ramp. Perhaps their masks are very advanced, Prime Keth replied, though he could see no breathing equipment on the humans at all. Ambassador Vale followed Captain Torres along with Dr. Lin, their scientist. The 3 humans looked calm and relaxed, as if they were visiting a peaceful trade station instead of the most dangerous fortress in the galaxy. This made the Alliance members even more nervous. Welcome to Fortress Prime, Prime Keth said formally. His voice echoed through the docking bay, where dozens of Alliance warriors stood ready for trouble. Ambassador Vale smiled, a strange expression that the Alliance members had never seen before. Thank you for agreeing to meet with us, Prime. Keth, we know trust is not given easily in your part of the galaxy. Trust is earned, Commander Vex said coldly. Show us this gift you have brought. The humans exchanged glances. Captain Torres nodded to Dr. Lin, who activated a small device. We would be honored to show you. But first we should explain what you are about to see. Suddenly, alarms began blaring throughout the station. Dr. Nina's voice crackled over the communication system. Prime Keth, emergency in the sensor bay. You need to see this immediately. The Alliance leaders rushed to the sensor room, the humans following calmly behind them. Dr. Nina stood before a wall of monitors, her face pale behind her breathing mask. "What is it?" Prime Keth demanded. "The readings from their cargo bay," Dr. Nina said, her voice shaking. "Prime Keth, their cargo is screaming." The monitors showed wave after wave of electromagnetic signals coming from the human ship. The patterns were unlike anything the Alliance had ever seen. Chaotic, intense, and constant. The ship's computer had translated these signals into sounds, and the result was terrifying. Through the speakers came what sounded like cries of pain, wails of agony, and screams of fear. The sounds were so intense that several Alliance members had to cover their ears. "What are you doing to those creatures?" Tara shouted, her skin crackling with angry electricity. "What kind of monsters are you?" Commander Vex drew his weapon, pointing it at the humans. "This ends now. You are torturing living beings." But the humans remained calm. Ambassador Vale stepped forward, showing no fear of the weapons pointed at him. "We understand your concern, but please let us show you the truth. What you are hearing is not what you think it is. Those are screams of pain." Old Tom's voice boomed through the room. "We know the sound of suffering." "Yes," Dr. Lin said, quietly. "Your sensors are very sensitive. They can detect biological processes that most species cannot even imagine. But you are interpreting the signals incorrectly." Prime Keth held up his hand for silence. Despite his anger, he was curious. "Explain." Dr. Lin activated her device again. "Your sensors are detecting the electromagnetic signatures of life from our world. But what you call screaming, we call living." The humans led the Alliance members to the cargo bay of the Resilience. Commander Vex kept his weapon ready, expecting to find cages full of tortured animals. Instead, he found something that made no sense. The cargo bay was filled with what looked like a garden. Green plants grew in containers, their leaves moving gently in the recycled air. Small animals moved freely in enclosures that seemed more like playgrounds than prisons. Birds flew in large, open spaces. Everything looked peaceful and healthy. "This is impossible," Dr. Nina whispered. "Our sensors show massive bio-stress indicators. These creatures should be dying in agony." Dr. Lin walked to one of the plant containers. "This is a simple oak tree from Earth. It is young, healthy, and growing well. Your sensors detect its photosynthesis, the process by which it turns sunlight into energy. To you, this process creates electromagnetic signatures that seem like screaming." She moved to another container. "These are roses. They are producing oxygen as a waste product. The chemical reactions in their cells create the patterns your sensors interpret as cries of distress." Ambassador Vale approached a small enclosure, where a white rabbit sat calmly eating green leaves. "This is a rabbit. It is processing food in its stomach, its heart is pumping blood, its brain is sending signals throughout its body. Every living process creates electromagnetic waves. Your sensors are so sensitive that you can detect life itself." The Alliance members stared in disbelief. Commander Vex lowered his weapon slowly. "You mean the screaming is just living?" "Yes," Captain Torres said. "But there is more. Dr. Nina, what do your sensors show about the rabbit's stress levels?" Dr. Nina checked her instruments, then checked them again. "This cannot be right. The creature shows no signs of distress. In fact, it appears to be thriving." "Even in this environment?" Prime Keth asked. "Especially in this environment," Dr. Lin replied. "The atmospheric pressure here is higher than Earth normal. The radiation levels are increased. The gravity is 1.3 times Earth standard. For most species, these conditions would be fatal." She paused, letting the implications sink in. "But Earth life does not just survive here. It grows stronger." Tara's electricity stopped crackling. "Stronger? How is that possible?" Dr. Lin smiled. "Because Earth is not the gentle garden world you think it is. Our planet has trained us, all of us, from the smallest plant to the largest animal, to survive in conditions that would kill most galactic life." The Alliance members were silent. They had spent their lives believing that their own worlds were the most dangerous in the galaxy. They had been proud of their ability to survive where others could not. "What exactly are the conditions on Earth?" Prime Keth asked quietly. Ambassador Vale's expression grew serious. Gravity that crushes, atmosphere that burns, weather that destroys cities, radiation from our star that can kill, earthquakes that split continents, storms that level forests. But your planet looks like paradise in the galactic databases, Dr. Nina protested. Because, Captain Torres said, we have learned to make paradise out of hell, just as you have done on your worlds. Commander Vex holstered his weapon completely. You are saying that Earth is a death world? We are saying, Ambassador Vale replied, that every world where life struggles to survive is a death world. We have heard the stories of your planets, the acid rain, the crushing gravity, the poison atmosphere. We know these challenges because we face them too. The rabbit in the enclosure hopped closer to the viewing window, its nose twitching curiously at the Alliance members. It showed no fear, no stress, no signs of the suffering that their sensors had detected. The screaming your sensors detect, Dr. Lin explained, is the sound of life refusing to give up. It is the sound of cells fighting to survive, of hearts beating against impossible odds, of minds pushing forward when everything says to stop. Prime Keth stared at the small Earth creature. And this is normal for your world? This is normal. For any world where life chooses to fight instead of surrender, Ambassador Vale said. We believe that is something the Death World Alliance understands very well. The Alliance members looked at each other. For the first time in their lives, they were seeing creatures from another world that might actually understand their struggle. But if Earth was truly a death world as dangerous as their own planets, then these humans might be far more dangerous than they appeared. Tomorrow, Prime Keth announced, we will study your world's data more carefully. We must understand what we are dealing with. As the humans were escorted to guest quarters, the Alliance members remained in the cargo bay, watching the Earth creatures live and thrive in conditions that should have killed them. The screaming from their sensors continued, but now they understood it differently. It was not the sound of death, it was the sound of life that refused to die. The next morning, the Alliance science team gathered in their main laboratory. Dr. Nina had not slept all night. She had been running tests on the Earth samples that Dr. Lin had provided. A single leaf, a drop of water, and a small piece of soil. The results make no sense, she told Prime Keth as he entered the lab. According to our analysis, this leaf should have died the moment it left Earth's atmosphere, but it is still alive, still growing. Commander Vex stood beside a containment unit where the Earth soil sample was being studied. And this dirt, it is full of tiny creatures, millions of them. They are living in conditions that would sterilize any normal soil. Prime Keth studied the data displays. What are you saying? I am saying that Earth life is impossible, Dr. Nina replied. It survives things that should kill it. It grows in environments that should poison it. It thrives where other life forms die. Tara entered the lab, her blue skin still sparking with electricity from her morning training session. The humans have requested to observe our tests. They say they want to help us understand. Let them come, Prime Keth decided. We need answers. When the humans arrived, they found the Alliance scientists staring at their instruments in confusion. Dr. Lin approached Dr. Nina's workstation. What troubles you? She asked gently. Dr. Nina pointed to her screens. This leaf from your oak tree. Our atmosphere should have killed it in minutes. Instead, it is producing oxygen faster than when it was in your ship. How is this possible? Dr. Lin smiled. Because your atmosphere is richer than Earth's. More carbon dioxide, higher pressure, increased radiation. The leaf thinks it has found paradise. Paradise? Commander Vex laughed harshly. Our atmosphere is toxic. It burns the lungs of most species. But not all species, Ambassador Vale said quietly. Commander, what is the atmosphere like on your homeworld? Vex straightened with pride. Thick with volcanic gases. Acid rain falls every day. The air pressure could crush a normal being. Only the strongest survive there. And you breathe it naturally? Of course. My people have adapted over millions of years. Ambassador Vale nodded. Just as Earth life has adapted to our world. But there is something you should know about adaptation. It does not just help you survive in your own environment. It makes you incredibly strong in other environments. 2. Dr. Lin activated a holographic display showing Earth's environmental data. This is what we call a normal day on Earth. The Alliance members stared at the display in growing shock. The data showed temperature swings that would kill most life, forms, radiation levels that should sterilize the planet, and atmospheric pressure that varied wildly across the globe. "This cannot be correct," Old Tom said, his metal-strong bones creaking as he leaned forward. "These conditions would destroy any planet's ecosystem." "Yet Earth has the richest ecosystem in the known galaxy," Dr. Lin replied. "Millions of species, all competing for survival in an environment that never stops trying to kill them." She changed the display to show Earth's weather patterns. "These are our storms. What we call hurricanes can destroy entire cities. Our earthquakes can split continents. Our volcanoes can change the climate of the entire planet." Tara's electricity stopped crackling entirely. "And life survives this?" "Life does more than survive," Captain Torres said. "Life adapts. It grows stronger. It finds ways to use these deadly forces as tools for survival." Dr. Nina was studying, her instruments again. "The soil sample. There are creatures in it that can survive in pure acid, others that can live in boiling water, some that can even survive in the vacuum of space for short periods. Earth life has been fighting for survival for billions of years," Dr. Lin explained. "Every disaster, every catastrophe, every challenge has made it stronger. What you call screaming is the sound of life that has learned to never give up." Prime Keth walked to the containment unit holding the rabbit. The small creature was still calm, still healthy, still showing no signs of stress despite being in an environment that should have killed it. "This small animal," he said slowly. "What dangers does it face on Earth?" Dr. Lin considered the question. "Predators that hunt it from the sky and ground, diseases that could kill it in days, weather that could freeze it solid or burn it alive, food that might be poisonous, water that might be contaminated. Yet it looks so peaceful, because it has learned to live with danger every moment of its life. Constant alertness, constant adaptation, constant survival. To this rabbit, your station is actually safer than most places on Earth." Commander Vex was staring at the atmospheric data. "Your oxygen levels, they are higher than most species can tolerate. This should be toxic to you." "It is," Ambassador Vale said calmly. "Earth's atmosphere is slowly poisoning us. The oxygen burns our cells from the inside. We live shorter lives than most galactic species because our own air is killing us." "Then why do you not change it?" "Because the struggle makes us stronger. Every breath we take is a victory against a world that does not want us to exist." The room fell silent. The Alliance members, who had always believed their own worlds were the ultimate test of survival, were beginning to understand that they had never met anything like Earth life. Dr. Nina spoke first. "The electromagnetic signatures we detected, they are not just biological processes. They are the signals of life forms that are constantly fighting for survival at the cellular level. Every heartbeat is a battle," Dr. Lin confirmed. "Every breath is a victory. Every moment of life is earned through struggle." Old Tom's voice was barely above a whisper. "No wonder your sensors showed such intense signals. Your life forms are not just living. They are conquering death every second." Tara approached the rabbit's enclosure. "On my world we have creatures that can survive our electrical storms. But they are huge, armored, built for battle. This small thing, how does it survive?" "Speed, intelligence, and the ability to hide," Dr. Lin said, "but most importantly, it never stops being ready to fight for its life." The rabbit looked up at Tara with bright, alert eyes. In that moment, she saw something that made her step back. The creature was not afraid of her, despite her size and obvious strength. It was evaluating her, deciding whether she was a threat worth responding to. "It is not afraid," she breathed. "Fear is a luxury that Earth life cannot afford, Captain," Torres said. "Fear makes you hesitate. Hesitation gets you killed. Prime Keth turned to face the humans. You came to us because you knew we would understand this. We came to you because we recognized kindred spirits, Ambassador Vale replied. The Death World Alliance exists because you have learned the same lessons we have. Survival is not about being the biggest or the strongest. It is about refusing to give up. Dr. Nina was running new calculations on her computers. If Earth life is this resilient, this adaptable, what does that make humans? The humans exchanged glances. Ambassador Vale's expression grew serious. That is something we hoped you would help us understand. We have always wondered why other species fear us, why they call us dangerous when we have only tried to be peaceful. Because, Prime Keth said slowly, you are apex predators who do not know your own strength. The words hung in the air like a challenge. The Alliance members looked at the humans with new eyes, seeing not soft garden world dwellers, but survivors of a world that made their own death worlds look gentle. Tomorrow, Prime Keth announced, we will study Earth's complete environmental data. We must understand exactly what kind of world could produce life this strong. As the humans left the laboratory, the Alliance members remained behind, staring at the Earth samples that continued to thrive in conditions that should have killed them. The screaming from their sensors had not stopped, but now they understood it was the sound of life that had learned to turn every challenge into strength. They were beginning to realize that they had not just met another species, they had met their teachers. Commander Vex could not sleep. For 3 days he had been studying the data about Earth that the humans had provided. Each new piece of information made him more disturbed. He sat in his private quarters, surrounded by holographic displays showing Earth's environmental readings. Computer, he said to his AI system, compare Earth's radiation levels to the galactic average for habitable worlds. The display changed, showing 2 sets of numbers. Vex stared at them for a long moment, then checked the calculations again. The numbers did not change. Impossible, he muttered. Computer, run the comparison again. Check for errors. No errors detected, Commander. Earth's baseline radiation is 347% higher than the galactic standard for habitable worlds. Vex stood and paced around his room. He activated his communicator. Dr. Nina, are you awake? Her voice came through immediately. I have not slept in 2 days, Commander. These readings, they cannot be real. Meet me in the main laboratory. Bring Prime Keth. 20 minutes later, the 3 Alliance leaders stood before a massive holographic display of Earth. The planet looked beautiful from space, blue oceans, white clouds, green and brown continents. It appeared to be the perfect garden world. Tell me what you have found, Prime Keth said. Dr. Nina activated her data files. I have been analyzing every aspect of Earth's environment. Prime Keth, this planet should not be able to support life. She highlighted different sections of the planet. The atmospheric composition contains 21% oxygen. For most species, anything above 16% oxygen is toxic. It burns their lungs and damages their cells. But humans breathe it naturally, Commander Vex said, because they have adapted to live in a poisonous atmosphere, Dr. Nina replied. Their blood carries special proteins that protect them from oxygen damage. Without these proteins, they would die from their own air. Prime Keth studied the display. What else? Dr. Nina changed the view to show Earth's tectonic activity. The planet's surface is constantly moving. Earthquakes happen every day. Volcanoes regularly destroy entire regions. The continents themselves shift and change position. This is normal for death worlds, Commander Vex said. My planet has similar
activity. Your planet has one active tectonic zone, Dr. Nina corrected. Earth has dozens. The entire planet is constantly reshaping itself.
And yet, life not only survives but thrives in these conditions. The display showed Earth's weather patterns. Prime Keth watched massive storms that covered areas larger than most space stations. These storms, he said, they happen regularly. Every season, Dr. Nina confirmed. Hurricanes with winds that can destroy cities, tornadoes that can lift buildings into the sky, lightning storms that strike the ground millions of times per day. Commander Vex was studying the gravitational data. The gravity is only 1.0 standard. That is actually weak compared to our worlds. That is what makes it so frightening, Dr. Nina said quietly. Earth life has developed this strength and resilience under normal gravity conditions. Imagine what they could do under higher gravity. She pulled up biological data about humans. I ran tests on the skin cells that Dr. Lin provided. Human skin can repair itself from radiation damage that would kill most species. Their bones are designed to heal from breaks that would cripple others permanently. Their immune systems can fight diseases that we have never seen before. Prime Keth was beginning to understand. They are not just adapted to their world. They are over-adapted. Exactly, Dr. Nina said. Earth has pushed its life form so hard that they have become capable of surviving almost anything. Commander Vex activated another display. I have been studying their military history. Do you know how humans settle disputes among themselves? War, like most species, Prime Keth replied. No, not like most species. Vex's forearms moved as he pulled up historical data. Most species fight until one side surrenders or retreats. Humans fight until one side is completely destroyed or physically unable to continue fighting. The display showed images of human conflicts throughout their history. Prime Keth and Dr. Nina watched in growing amazement as they saw the scale of destruction that humans inflicted on each other. They destroy their own cities, Dr. Nina whispered. They poison their own land. They fight wars that last for decades. And then they rebuild, Commander Vex added. They heal their world and prepare for the next conflict. This is not the behavior of a civilized species. This is the behavior of apex predators. Prime Keth was studying data about human space exploration. They have only had space travel for a few hundred years, yet they have already explored more of their local system than most species explore in millennia. Because they are not afraid, Dr. Nina said. Look at their early space missions. They strapped themselves to controlled explosions and shot themselves into the vacuum of space with technology that failed half the time. Commander Vex pulled up records of human contact with other species. When they first met the Galactic Council, the other species immediately classified them as a potential threat. But humans did not understand why. Because to them their behavior is normal, Prime Keth realized. They think every species fights for survival the way they do. Dr. Nina activated a new set of data. I requested information about human colonies from the galactic databases. Look at where they choose to settle. The display showed a map of human settlements across known space. Prime Keth stared at the locations in disbelief. High radiation zones, extreme temperature planets, worlds with unstable atmospheres. He looked at the humans' choices with new understanding. They are not looking for safe worlds, they are looking for challenges. Because safe worlds are boring to them, Commander Vex said. They need struggle to feel alive. Dr. Nina pulled up the final piece of data that had kept her awake for 2 days. This is the most disturbing information of all. I analyzed the electromagnetic signatures we detected from their ship, the ones we thought were screams. The display showed wave patterns from the human vessel. These signals are not just from their biological cargo. They are coming from the humans themselves. Prime Keth leaned forward. What do you mean? Every human on that ship is producing the same electromagnetic signatures we detected from their plants and animals. Their bodies are constantly fighting for survival at the cellular level, even when they are perfectly safe. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Commander Vex spoke first. You are saying that humans never stop fighting for their lives, even when there is no danger. Their bodies do not know how to stop, Dr. Nina confirmed. They have been conditioned by their world to treat every moment as a battle for survival. Their cells, their organs, their entire biological system is always prepared for the worst possible conditions. Prime Keth understood now why the galactic community feared humans. It was not because they were aggressive or violent. It was because they were survivors on a level that no other species could comprehend. They are not just from a death world, he said slowly. They are from the ultimate death world, a planet so dangerous that it has created life forms incapable of recognizing safety. Dr. Nina nodded. Earth has not just taught its children to survive. It has taught them to thrive in conditions that would destroy civilizations. Commander, Vex was studying the human ship's location on his sensors. And now they want to join the Death World Alliance. Because they recognize us as the only species who might understand them, Prime Keth said. We who have survived on Death Worlds know the value of strength through struggle. The three Alliance leaders stood in silence, contemplating what they had learned. Somewhere on their station, three humans slept peacefully, unaware that they had just been revealed as the most dangerous species the galaxy had ever encountered. Tomorrow, Prime Keth announced, we vote on their membership in the Alliance, but first we must decide, are we ready to ally ourselves with predators who do not even know they are predators? The question hung in the air as the Alliance leaders faced a decision that would change the balance of power in the galaxy forever. The emergency session of the Death World Alliance Council was unlike any meeting in their history. Every member species had sent representatives to Fortress Prime. The Great Council Chamber was filled with beings from the galaxy's most dangerous worlds, all gathered to decide the fate of three humans who waited quietly in their guest quarters. Prime Keth stood at the center of the chamber, holding a data crystal containing everything they had learned about Earth and humanity. Around him, the council members argued with voices that echoed off the metal walls. They are too dangerous, shouted Representative Mark from the acid world of Melkor. His green skin bubbled and steamed in the station's atmosphere. If we accept them, the core worlds will unite against us. Good, growled old Tom, his metal bones creaking as he stood. Let them come. We have faced their fleets before. Tara's blue skin crackled with electricity. The question is not whether they are dangerous. The question is whether they are dangerous to us. Commander Vex activated the holographic display, showing Earth's environmental data. Look at these readings again. This is not just a death world. This is a world that makes our planets look safe. The council members studied the data in silence. Many of them had seen it before, but the numbers still shocked them. Dr. Nina stood and addressed the chamber. I have run every test possible on human biology, she announced. They are not just adapted to extreme conditions, they are built for them. Their muscles are 3 times denser than necessary for their gravity. Their bones can heal from breaks that would cripple us. Their blood can carry oxygen levels that would poison most species. But what does this mean for the Alliance? Asked Representative Vale from the ice world of Friggies. Her crystalline skin reflected the chamber's lights like frozen lightning. Prime Keth stepped forward. It means we have found our true allies. For centuries, the Death World Alliance has been seen as a collection of monsters and outcasts. The core worlds push us to the edges of space and call us barbarians. He activated another display showing the current galactic political map. The Death World Alliance controlled only a small section of the outer rim, while the core worlds dominated the center of the galaxy. But humans change everything, Prime Keth continued. They are a species that the core worlds already fear, yet they seek alliance with us willingly. Commander Vex stood beside him. I have been studying human military capabilities. They have weapons that can destroy planets, but they prefer to capture and rebuild. They have ships that can travel faster than any in our fleets, but they use them for exploration, not conquest. They are warriors who do not know they are warriors, old Tom added. This makes them more dangerous than any army. The chamber door opened, and Ambassador Vale entered with Captain Torres and Dr. Lin. The 3 humans walked calmly to the center of the room, showing no fear despite being surrounded by beings that most of the galaxy considered monsters. Humans of Earth, Prime Keth said formally, we have studied your world and your people. We have learned things that disturb us. Ambassador Vale nodded respectfully. We understand your concerns, Prime Keth. We know that our biology and our history raise questions. You do not understand, Commander Vex interrupted. We are not concerned about you joining us. We are concerned about whether we are worthy to join you. The humans looked confused. Captain Torres spoke first. We came here asking for membership in your alliance. We are not asking you to join us. But that is exactly what should happen. Dr. Nina said, stepping forward. Your species represents everything the Death World Alliance stands for, but taken to levels we never imagined possible. She activated her personal data display, showing the comparative analysis of Earth versus other Alliance worlds. Your planet's radiation levels exceed ours. Your atmospheric toxicity surpasses ours. Your environmental dangers dwarf ours. You are not just another Death World species. You are the ultimate Death World species. The chamber fell silent. Representative. Mark leaned forward in his chair. Are you suggesting that humans should lead the Alliance? I am suggesting that humans should lead the galaxy, Prime Keth said quietly. The words echoed through the chamber like a thunderclap. Even the humans looked shocked. Dr. Lin spoke hesitantly. We do not seek to lead anyone. We only want to find others who understand what it means to fight for survival. And that is exactly why you should lead, Tara said, her electricity flickering with excitement. You have the strength to rule, but no desire to conquer. You have the power to destroy, but choose to build. Commander Vex activated the Galactic communication system. Computer open channels to all core world leaders, priority alpha transmission. The main display activated, showing surprised faces from across the galaxy. Prime ministers, presidents, and planetary governors appeared on screen, clearly not expecting a call from the Death World Alliance. Leaders of the core worlds, Commander, Vex announced. The Death World Alliance has voted. We have accepted humanity as not just members but as our senior partners. The reaction was immediate. Voices erupted from speakers as core world leaders began shouting questions and threats. This is an act of war, screamed the Prime Minister of Centauri Prime. You cannot ally with those monsters, added the President of New Geneva. Prime. Keth stepped forward, his voice cutting through the noise. For centuries, you have called us monsters because we survive where you cannot. You have pushed us to the edges of space because our strength frightens you. He gestured to the humans. Now we have found allies who make us look weak by comparison. Humanity has offered us friendship, trade, and technology. In return, the Death World Alliance offers them our loyalty. Ambassador Vale stepped beside Prime Keth. The alliance between our peoples is not about conquest or war. It is about mutual respect between species who understand the value of strength through struggle. The core world leaders were shouting over each other, making threats and demands. Captain Torres approached the communication panel. Leaders of the core worlds, he said calmly, his voice somehow carrying over the chaos. We seek only peace and cooperation. The Death World Alliance has offered us friendship. We hope you will do the same. Never, screamed the President of New Geneva. We will not negotiate with barbarians and monsters. The transmission ended as the core worlds cut their connections. The chamber was quiet for a moment. Well, Dr. Lin said with a small smile, I suppose that could have gone better. Old. Tom's laughter boomed through the chamber. Better? That was perfect. Now they know that the outer rim is no longer defenseless. Prime Keth turned to face the full council. All in favor of accepting humanity as senior partners in the Death World Alliance? Every hand, claw, and appendage in the chamber rose in agreement. All opposed? The chamber remained still. Then it is decided, Prime Keth announced. The Death World Alliance is reborn. With humanity's knowledge and our combined strength, we will no longer be outcasts begging for scraps. Ambassador, Vale stepped forward. What happens now? Commander Vex smiled, showing his sharp teeth. Now we build. Human technology combined with Death World resilience. Human exploration combined with our survival skills. Human diplomacy backed by our military strength. Tara's skin crackled with electric excitement. The core worlds control the center of the galaxy because they have the largest populations and the most resources. But resources mean nothing if you cannot survive to use them. Dr. Nina was already pulling up star charts. There are thousands of worlds that the core species consider uninhabitable. Worlds with high radiation, extreme temperatures, toxic atmospheres. To us, these are prime real estate. And to humans, Dr. Lin added, they are new challenges to overcome. Prime Keth looked out through the great viewing window at the stars beyond. For the first time in our history, the Death World Alliance is not just surviving. We are growing. 6 months later, the transformation was complete. Human terraforming technology had made Alliance worlds more livable without making them soft. Human ships protected Alliance trade routes with weapons that made core world fleets nervous. Human diplomats negotiated from positions of strength that the Alliance had never known before. Most importantly, the galaxy had learned a new truth. The beings they had pushed to the edges of space were not outcasts anymore. They were the vanguard of a new age, led by a species that turned every challenge into an opportunity and every struggle into strength. The Death World Alliance had become the most powerful force in the galaxy, not through conquest, but through the simple act of refusing to accept that survival was the best they could hope for. And in the depths of space, human ships continued to broadcast their electromagnetic signatures. The eternal screams of life that refused to surrender, now joined by the voices of every species that had learned the same lesson. The galaxy would never be the same.